and the current team, when I first got there, when I first got there were only one guy that was helping out, and this guy was like chain smoker, coffee all night, and I was like, wow, I was like, this guy doesn't have no help. So I wanted to really help out and contribute. I thought I was gonna come here and help out for 3 months and then move on. I saved up some money. I got to work afterwards. So I came. I was like, all right, just help out as much as I can and give what I got and then help out. And then move on, we're just living service, So after that, after the big event, we did workshop after workshop. We brought in so much money for him, and we didn't take anything. We're living in service, We wanted to contribute, living in service, After one workshop, he was able to like buy himself a truck,
I was just gonna say that. He probably went out and bought a car.
He bought a nice big truck,
and trade that for airplane ads.
Right. And we didn't take anything, and I was trying to be like, dude, we should get some kickbacks. But the other people, they weren't quite on the same program, because it's all work, but they weren't quite in the same program. So I was like, all right, whatever. That's awesome, we're living here, we're doing all this stuff, we're doing great work, That's great. And some of the first impressions, when I first got there, he had a 24-year-old ex-girlfriend that went bonkers, He was like, late 50s, close to 60s. And he had this 24-year...
Where was this again?
This in Washington State?
And somewhere up in the... somewhere up in the...
Yeah, it's Oregon.
Again, I don't want to... because it's not about the people and though you guys... Because people can change, and this is my experience. I'm not... this is all that I can say, that this is my truth, but
but it's going to be kind of gives just the area, like you're saying, Washington, because when you go through different states, people are different in different areas. Like when you go to Oregon, definitely it's interest people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We kind of get an idea, Yeah.
Well, so he was like close to 60. He had a 24-year-old ex-girlfriend that went bonkers, and I was like, wow, really?
When you say went bonkers, what did she do?
She had smashed some stuff, threw his thing around, smashed his camera, and just, I don't know. I met her because she came and had a talk with him after she went bonkers. So I wasn't there for her going bonkers, But that was the first impression, And man, I remember, so me and my other friend moved up there with me, and him and T2000 would go into town, the nearest town, and they'd be gawking at girls. These two are considered like senior citizens, and they're gawking at girls, and I'm just like, are you serious? I just moved from Hawaii to do this? What? I came from Hawaii. We get old chicks here, you know what I mean? Old chicks. And so I'm just like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I'm in town with two senior citizens fucking gawking at girls. I was like, whatever. Oh, I made a fool of myself because, it just screwed with me. Because I'm like, dude, I'm on a spiritual path, I'm gonna move from everything that I know. I'm gonna live I'm here at this retreat center, just connecting with UFOs, and it's amazing, and these two senior citizens are gawking at girls. I'm like, wow. And so it kind of screwed with me. But then, there were a lot of shifts, a lot of power-ups. I remember sitting outside one time, sky watching by myself, and I had seen in a period of 20 to 30 minutes, I had counted 30 ships flying overhead. Like satellites, there's not that much satellites overhead, and this is visible lights, One or two powered up did moves that was defied logic. There were orbs. There was a lot of phenomenon in general. And what I saw was that, dude, he's got this one guy who's just chain smoking cigarette, coffee all day, helping out. I'm like, wow, he's got no solid support, no helpers. Like, that's crazy. So, it made you want to give more, And, man, in the mainland, the sun rises 7 and it sets at 8 or 9, It sets late, yeah. So, man, I was working my ass off. But typically, at these, they were trying to get a community, and the typical protocol was that you worked 4 hours to stay, 6 hours if you wanted food. Man, I did overtime, double overtime, because after that, there was sky watching. You had to like check in people sometimes at night, and when you live where you work, man, you're just working all the time. There's no off. You're just always on. So there was. But we're meeting a lot of people, and we're doing a lot of good work. We're doing a lot of good service in the name of service. No, this is some picture. The dog, and you can see there's a pink orb right there. Next picture. There's an orb right in the person's hand right there. Next picture. All of that orb. You can see various pictures, different colors. And I think that one's kind of bluish right there. Light pink, green, yellow. Next. And here's my friend right there. It's just littered. There's a red orb. In the computer screen, you can see it a little bit more clear. So there's a lot of phenomenon. And it was just amazing because we just had people come from all walks of life. Here, I've just gone through some serious, intense experience for the past 6 years, and now I'm here at this place, and I'm meeting all these people who've had intense experiences too. But I've never shared anything. I shared a little bit, but it's hard to talk about some of the bizarre stuff that you see, But where's the context for that, Next. That's just another one inside a meditation room. Next picture. So you see this one right here? Next picture. I don't know if you can see, there's a clear face right there. Yeah? There's a clear face. And that, when they talk about people in the hospital, sometimes when they're at the moment of death, people actually see a sphere of light that leaves. They say there's about 4 to 6 ounces of weight that leaves when the person dies, and that's the plasma, that spirit that leaves, And so all those spheres, they're like thought forms, the microcosm, macrocosm, like cells are around a spherical in nature, and all of them come together to create a big body. And these are like all thought forms, they're all conscious energies, they're just everywhere, So these are some other random photos that one particular guy took, one particular, I call him practitioner took. And so there was a lot of phenomena, I just want to show this just to let you know that I've seen a lot of these phenomena.
What was that, a ghost?
It was a girl.
Apparition?
Yeah, that one looks like Kuan Yin. So these were all taken with a cell phone. The dimensions are odd.
I'm sorry, Kuan Yin, the goddess, the Chinese goddess.
Well, at least we think. That one looks like a cat being.
Looks like a cat.
Yeah, it looks like a feline being.
Oh, that's a feline being.
Whoa.
Wow.
But these are just some phenomena that this one practitioner took.
Oh, wow.
That's the Pleiadian, right?
Is that a Pleiadian?
That's what I see. Pleiadian.
Yeah, that looks
Oh, that's a
like
different
Mary.
girl. The same girl? Look different.
No.
Okay, look
That
different
was
first.
So that
Where were you? Like outside when you took that?
this wasn't me. This one particular practitioner took this picture. And this is this is a compilation of various courses over 2-3 years,
Did you ever come in contact with underground people?
Yeah. Even in Hawaii, we have underground people here.
Are they saurians? Is that who you're talking about? The reptilian beings?
I don't know. We have underground things here too.
But what are they? When you said we have underground things, what are they like?
You read them about in Hawaiian mythology.
Oh.
Yeah, you see them.
Elemental, right?
Like we have many hunis, they're like elves, gnomes, and stuff like that. But there are indigenous. There are other life forms that we share this planet, this island with, let alone this planet. Yeah, but it's just that the room. They say the room is not as empty as you think.
Like here before the people came, they were here on Earth. People came, yeah.
So can I just ask you one more question?
Yeah.
So have you ever seen flying pterodactyls? I don't know.
I did. I did. At the property, I did see a pterodactyl. It's funny that she
A
asked.
pterodactyl?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah, I seen pterodactyl 3 times at the property. One time we're at the property, right? And I've told this story before. We're at the property, right? And I see this bird flying around super high and it's circling, and I'm watching this thing. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, it has a tail with a spade at the end. And so I tell the T2000, like, hey, check out that bird. And he looks up, and he's like, whoa. He said immediately he saw the thing was flapping nonstop. He said, that's a pterodactyl. And he saw the spade, you know. And then another time I saw it, it was a little bit lower. And then I saw it the third time, another third time. Like, I seen this thing 3 times. It was pretty freaking that I saw this thing, and everybody called it, like, my pet or something like that. So we always joked, they're like, son, what's your pterodactyl? Like, I saw this thing 3 times. This other time, we're outside at night, we're sky watching, and I was talking to this girl, right? I was talking to this girl, I had this laser, but the laser went out into a spotlight. It wasn't, missing the cap. So I was talking to this girl, yeah, and then I saw this shadow fly overhead, and I look up, and I had my laser, like, whoa, what's that? Boom, I beamed it, and this thing was like the pine tree level high, you know, and it was flying overhead, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, whoa, pterodactyl! And there were like 30 people who looked up, and they were like, what the heck? Some of them said it was a goose or whatever, and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what I saw. I have no idea what I saw. But the girl next to me, she saw from the whole time, she said, goose. She's like, she used to hunt goose or geese or whatever it was. She said she used to hunt with her dad. She said, that was no geese. She said she saw the leather and everything. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but yeah.
So what did you think it's like?
I think it was after my Dragon Ball.
Is it a merging of dimensions or something?
I think that, you know how they say, like, we have an inner earth, you know, that there's tunnels and stuff like that. That they say, like, everything that we've extinct on this planet has been preserved, all of the animals.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Matter can need to be created.
So I do believe, you know, there's like dragons, you know, just because you haven't seen a dragon doesn't mean they don't exist.
Right.
You know? What if they're right next to you, but you can't see them? You know, just because, yeah.
Yeah, because the spectrum of light we live in, right? Like how he says that we're such a small spectrum of light.
Yeah.
That there's so much.
Visible light is about this much.
Yeah.
There's before infrared, and then after we have like X-ray, ultraviolet X-ray, gamma, and all that other spectrum, you know? So, yeah, interesting. So there was a lot of phenomenon. Next T1000 comes looking for property. You know, he was trying to like get a retreat center, and you know, this is the first meeting after I really saw his true face. You know, and this is our first true meeting, and I was a little bit, you know, standoffish, you know, because I was just like, man, I can't believe you, you know? And so I put this picture here. Beautiful girl, you know, like seductress, but with this like metallic eye, you know, because it was like him, you know, he was super alluring, magnetic, super charming, you know, he had a lot of magnetism, a lot of charisma. But yeah, it was just like, wow. I talked to Angel, his girlfriend, about it. I call her Angel because she's like an angel, you know? I talked to her about it and why I was just, how I'm feeling and all that stuff. And prior, she had expressed to me how she was suspicious because of that wormhole activity and all that stuff, and she wouldn't cut her hair for the ceremony, you know. But she was very different this time. You know, she was very different this time. And you know, I forgave him. You know, I was like, man, I love this guy. You know, it's like growing up with somebody. You know. And I love this guy, so I was like, dude, whatever, man. But inside I was like, if you ever do something to me like that again, we're freaking done. We're done, you know? No more. And he was planning to build a retreat center there, you know, and I was like, yeah, I'll come by and help out, you know? I mean, instead of investing and helping out this other guy, you know, I'll help this guy out, you know?
So he wanted to build it by T2000?
He was looking for a property around T2000's place.
Oh, did he end up getting it then?
We're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
I know. The excitement now, what's gonna happen next. So, So you know, season two comes. We got a couple more new people coming on. You know, I went all in. I've been here for a year now. I thought I was going to stay here for a couple months, but I brought in so much money that I brought in so much money the previous slide in season one that at the end of season one he bought me and this other girl a ticket to Hawaii with him to vacation in the winter, and you know, I helped taught the workshop and stuff like that. You know, I was teaching qigong over there. You know, just like started Bodhidharma. You know, I started teaching people qigong, and I felt like it was a lot of people were meditating, but their bodies was neglected. You know, they were lacking in their physical strength and physical mastery. You know, and so you know, I had tried to carry on that tradition and try to like help people strengthen their bodies and start to learn more about themselves. Because the art, I started really getting into the art more. It started becoming a method of self-discovery for me. You know, so I was teaching a lot of the workshops. So we brought in so much money that he bought me and this girl a ticket to go to Hawaii to help teach the workshop and take a vacation. You know. The team kept bringing in money. We did one event a month, and then there were and then the events brought. We had guest rooms, and then there was camp space, and people paid for camping and rooms. You know what I mean? So each event, it just brought in a lot of revenue, and living in service. We didn't take anything. Yeah? He only had one event a year that carried him throughout before. So now it's one event a month, and the team was doing everything. We had powerful gatherings. I mean, people from all walks of life. And it was just like, wow, amazing connection. You know, when you look into somebody's eyes and you know this person had an experience and this person is trying to walk the same path that you are. There's an instant bonding, you know, and a lot of amazing connections were made.
I have a question. Like, if you get a room full of people, say they're like psychics or people, do they like? Does it work out good or does it work out bad? You know what I'm saying? Like,
depends if they have something to hide, huh?
Well, no, I know, but I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're in a room just be all spiritual people and they start reading each other, I mean,
because
sometimes.
Now you gotta think about like
Wouldn't you know?
usually a psychic or gifted person only deals with, he sees people who are not psychic or not gifted, right? So they're used to being raised in being the leader, in being the voice of the group, and people come to them for opinions. Now if you got a whole group of people who are gifted,
right, so they don't like that. I mean,
well, it depends. Are you really walking the spiritual path, or are you walking the ego path? Yeah. Because if you have a hard time gelling, then that means.
I mean, it just kind of helps kind of warm out the people that you don't want there. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so they want to
right.
have some kind of we can spot it right away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Right. The family was super grateful because the family knew, like, we got a good thing going on. He's never had a team like that before. We were solid. I taught workshops. I taught qigong. I brought real value. I learned how to edit videos. I was doing huge promotions. I learned how to make flyers and make presentations, and I was the multimedia guy, you know. The other girl had business background. She organized, promoted, coordinated rides and all that stuff, and then the other people did the farm. The new team, the one guy who was kind of odd left already, so it's all new team. I was the senior there. I was there the longest, you know, and we were all super gung ho and living in service. Then there was county issues. What happened was one of the volunteers there left, and he got sour. Reported him to the county, and county started inspecting with building permits and codes and stuff like that, you know, because it wasn't quite integral with his dealings, yeah. And so, you know, we already see this with his 24-year-old girlfriend, and then now this guy who called, he was a construction helper and all that stuff, you know. And that was rough, you know. So the county issue started going on. But we'll go to the next slide, and then I'm trying to just kind of lay the foundation to create the picture. Yeah. Some of the red flags that I saw. There was Fire the Grid. You guys ever heard of Fire the Grid?
No.
Yeah. There was a point in time where, you know, there was this one lady who had a death experience also. I met her, Shelly.
Yeah.
Shelly what? I forgot.
Something with the Y.
Yates.
Yeah,
Shelly Yates.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she, you know, the ETs she had gotten into a car accident. ETs told her how to save her kid. The kid was dying, and they told her that, you know, you need to teach people how to like raise the vibration and help activate the planet. So they had this meditation called Fire the Grid. This is like worldwide, where people gathered for 1 hour or something, right, in a certain date to help focus on love or something to help raise the vibration of the planet. There were like millions of people all over the world, yeah. There were millions, and there were 3 Fire the Grids. And so when I went there, there was just 1 Fire the Grid, and I told T2000, oh, there's Fire the Grid today. Like, oh, really? Oh, okay. So we go, and again, he has a gift and ability in tapping in to other beings. You know, it's not my gift. So I told him, oh, there's Fire the Grid. We should tap in, send some energy to the grid. Oh, okay. So we go down. We go into one of the room. He does his thing. Calls his guide in and tells him, oh, can you help fire the grid? Send some energy. Okay, boom, done. Like 3 minutes. I was like, what? That's it? They're like, oh yeah. The higher dimensional beings got it. They'll fire the grid. I'm like, what? Serious? Do you call the higher beings to make love to your wife? You got it? What are you talking about? It's crazy. Call the higher beings to fire the grid? This is our planet. We need to save this. We need to turn this around. At least that's how I feel. You know? That's how I feel. We need to turn this thing around. He tapped in. He called the higher beings in. Fire the grid. Not even 3 minutes. So that was the first one. The next one was like shopping, grocery shopping. You know, one time we went grocery shopping. So I'm just talking about red flags. Again, I have a certain immunity. I think I've learned some stuff by now. You know what I mean? After T1000. So we went grocery shopping, and then you know, there's about 4 of us living there, 4 or 5 of us, plus him was 6. And we went grocery shopping. I mean, we brought in so much money. He was so grateful that he bought a ticket for me to Hawaii. I didn't ask, but he was so grateful because we brought in so much money. So he was buying groceries. I mean, groceries was supposed to be 6 hours, you know. We were working and bringing in so much money that so he was doing grocery shopping, and then one time he goes, grocery was about $200. Come out of grocery shopping, he goes, man, every time I go to the grocery store, it's like $200 down the drain. What? Down the drain? Your team been living here in service, working day in and day out, bringing all this money, and it's $200 down the drain. I was like, and it just blew by me, and I was like, what? You know, I didn't quite, you know, we hear about all this earth changes and all this destruction and chaos, you know, and tsunami, earthquakes and stuff like that, you know, and so he was buying silver. I was helping him buy silver, and, you know, in case the economy crashes and stuff like that, you know, and there were talk about Hawaii might even going down, you know, and because of tsunami and all that stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I gotta go in town and help my mom pick up some silver. And he goes, why? It's gonna go down anyway. I'm like, what? Dude, my mom lives there. What are you talking? What? What the fuck are you talking about? Are you fucking? You know what I mean? I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I'm gonna go buy some silver for my mom to prepare, and you're saying that it's gonna go down, and he just walks away, you know. It's just like casual. I was like, whatever, man, forget you. Crazy. And we used to laugh and joke that, like, dude, anything with boobs and legs, this guy's on it. You know what I mean? Senior citizen. Anything with boobs and legs, and a lot of the girls there would be like, that would come up and they'd be like, dude, man, what's going on, you know? Always hitting on the girls. Always classic move is, oh man, my back's messed up, you know, can you massage me? And I've heard stories where he'd ask one of the girls who was living there to work on him, and they would come into the room and he'd be butt naked. Spiritual healings. He'd do spiritual healings, and yeah, some of the spiritual healings was like, it did not sit right with me, because like, it was always calling down the masters, and if it was a guy, it would be like really quick, just like had the masters come and heal and done. If it had boobs and legs, fuck, we got connections. You know, we got connections. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say what, but I'll let you figure that out. You know what I mean? And he would do the deluxe work, you know, with the females, you know, and he's like, whatever, man. You know what I mean? That was just some red light, you know, and talk about operating from survival, sex, and power. Did I miss a slide? Maybe it's later. Okay, next page. Oh yeah, okay. So I've already been at the ranch for about a year and a half now, you know, teaching workshops and classes and stuff like that, and this one girl that was helping me out with the workshops and classes, you know, T1000, remember I forgave him, you know, I love the guy, I forgave him, but no more. And I come back and visit Chinese New Year to Hawaii, and I called this girl Michelle. I took her to the Big Island to do the teacher's training, and I come back to visit Oahu, visit my family, and visit the head priest, and then I went over to the Big Island to do the teacher's training. I met up with Michelle to do the teacher's training. She wanted to do the teacher's training with T1000 because he was super gifted. People at the ranch was blown away. I was at the house, and then T1000 was playing, like, shooting the, you know, one of those gun games, shooting the zombies and stuff like that. He's like, "Want to play?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm not shooting zombies." He's like, "I want to evolve. I want to heal the world."
Wait, did you go to T2000? Did you go to the ranch for a while? Did you meet the same people? I mean, was it all the same?
1,000 or 2,000?
2,000. I'm getting this up.
T2000's on the ranch.
Okay, then the 2001, did he ever go with you?
2001?
Yeah.
T1000.
1,000.
I mean, yeah.
First teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a little confused.
It's like 1,000 and 2,000.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, did everyone know each other? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we had, the entourage had visited.
Okay.
Yeah, and then T2000 came to T1000's
And did
teacher's
everyone
training.
get along? I mean, it sounds like they
Yeah.
have like their own like kind of agendas going on here. So did
Yeah, it's
everybody
like,
get along?
well, it's like two guys with skills and gifts, you know, it's obvious that like, it's like two surfers, like, oh yeah, you're good.
Okay,
I'm like,
so
I want to watch what
okay.
kind of skill you got, like, what do you do, you know, and, you know, like, there's a
Okay.
recognition and a respect, you know. So now going to, so I took Michelle to do the teacher's training with T1000, and he was shooting guns and he asked me if I want to play. I was like, nah, I want to save the world, you know what I mean? I want to heal. So I went in my room and I popped a video of T1000 of the head priest, one of his videos, and I was watching his video, you know. T1000 comes into the room, and I have no idea how he saw my laptop, like, because he was walking a straight line. And he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he goes, and he could not see my laptop. He was like, "Oh, you're watching a video of the head priest, huh?" I was like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "Damn." He saw me. Then he started talking down about the head priest, you know. He started saying, like, "Oh, the head priest is good, but, like, you know, he's not spiritual and this and that." And I was just like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I just put my head down. I was like, I cannot believe you're just talking down about the head priest, you know. I know who he is, you know. I know a little bit of things. I know what's what now, you know. And he was just kind of talking down about it. I was just like, wow. At the first point of my, finally in the point of my life, I did not want anything from him. Because before then, I was always like, dude, I want some of this. I want a third eye activation. I want to activate my DNA. I want to evolve. I want to be an immortal, you know. And now, I do not want anything from him. I just want to start fresh, as friends, cordial and casual, you know. But it was different for him. Now he has no power over me because I don't want anything from him, and he couldn't take that. So he wanted to try and rope me in. What he did was, because he was doing a retreat center, yeah. So now he was. I was still gonna help him out. Things would have gone good, you know. He started. So I didn't want anything from him, and but you know, he tried to suck me in. He's like, "Oh, I'll teach you the thunder, the thunder, we call it thunder magic thing." I was like, "All right, whatever." So then he started showing me some stuff, and I was like, "What is this called again?" And he goes, "Oh, it's called it's called blah blah blah." I was like, thinking like, "Wait a minute, you said you were gonna teach me the thunder magic," and I was like, "You sucker!" And I recognized some of the motions that we were doing. It was actually cutting my energy. actually, then he goes, before you sleep, make sure you practice this. Do it before you sleep in your head, in your mind. And I was like, while I was doing it, I was like, you sucker. I know what this is. I can't believe you're making a move on me like this.
That movie a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, the water elements or whatever.
Right.
Twisting it around energy and stuff.
Right, so I can't believe he was trying to shut me down. I was just trying to be loyal on my path of learning, you know, and he was trying to shut me down. And I just could not believe it. And there's another one where he had me do, in class, he had a little smirk, and he goes, I've never done this before. So he made me do a mudra, and made everybody do a mudra, and then as soon as I did it, I knew this was something wrong, and boom, I felt like something shoot up my head, and I was like, it wasn't good, you know, but anyway, can't have my butt like this. Well, anyway, so I was there with Michelle. So I wasn't feeling it throughout the whole teacher's training, you know, I wasn't feeling it, I was just sitting on the side and stuff like that, and he knew it, and I guess he knew that he had no power over me, you know. I mean, I still love the guy, I'm still gonna help him out. It's just that we're not on this platform anymore, we're like this, you know, we're even, you know. He couldn't deal with it. What he did was, I think it was after the teacher's training, people had left already, and then Michelle had woken up one night, and she was, in the morning she came to me and she told me like, she heard Mongolian chanting in her ear. And something told her, she woke up and she was just hearing Mongolian chanting in her ear. She's in the room by herself. And she wakes up and she like, something tells her to like, she wasn't feeling right. Something told her to go to the bathroom and vomit. So she went to the bathroom and she stuck her finger in her mouth and she vomited out this black pearl. And I was like, what? Wow, she's like, yeah. And he said T-1000 came into the room early in the morning and told her, after if she had a good night's sleep, and she was scared, you know. I had shared some stuff with her, but she didn't know. I didn't share everything with her, you know. But she was aware to keep her center, you know. T-1000 came into the room that morning and told her like, how'd you sleep? And she's like, I'm okay, you know. She was like, and T-1000 goes, he knew that I was doing a series of workshops when I get back throughout North America and Canada, you know. And so T-1000 tells her, oh, when you go back to, when you guys go to Canada, you and Sun should stay there for a long time. She's like, huh? So he repeats himself one more time. When you go back, when you guys go to Canada, you and Sun should stay there for a long time. And she was like, it was weird, he repeated himself, you know? And I was like, you bastard. You know, that pearl is a genie, is a jinn. I'm a little familiar, I believe I know the origin and the history of that pearl. And it was a jinn, and he had put that in her because it's like the symbiote. It controls what you do, you know. It manipulates you. You know?
What did she do with it?
She vomited out.
I mean, did she keep it?
It was in the bathroom.
No, I mean that's silly. I don't know, grab it and
No,
keep
she
it,
didn't
and
keep it.
maybe
She
give
flushed
back
it.
to him in a glass of water or something.
Right. She flushed it.
Bring this back.
She flushed it. Well, anyway, so I knew what that was, and I was like, wow, I was furious. And we were staying at his house, and so it was a rough couple of days at his house, and then being on the Big Island, you know. Next slide. Then right after I left the Big Island, him and Angel was going to move up to my area to find a property. Like seriously, the day that I flew back, I had to pick him up that night. And I was just like, wow, you know, I was pissed. And here's a guy who had serious abilities, gift, and power, you know what I mean? I wasn't going to fight him or anything like that. I was just like, dude, stay away from me, you know? Michelle wouldn't fully reveal what happened to the other people, you know, back at the property, you know, and I was like, dude, tell them what happened, you know? She wouldn't quite, she was still hesitant, you know, I didn't quite understand why. A lot of the people, I could see that they were seducery, hence the picture of a seductress, you know. They were seducery by the power and the lure of gifts and magic, you know, because he had a lot of that, you know, and everybody was indifferent, even T-2000, you know, because he wanted something, you know what I mean? At least that's what I think, you know? Association. There were some girls that at the ranch who I've been living with for like a year or so now. After telling them what happened, they still went over to his place, did some trade for work to attend his workshops, you know, and I was like, wow, I was pissed at first. I was like, wow, after I tell you this, I'm living with you, you're still going over there to work with, to help him out. And I was like, whatever, I had to let it go, and I had to really like just surrender. And if he's meant to move in and take over this territory, all right, man, I just like let it happen if that's what's supposed to be, you know. Next page. And then he, you know, after I don't know how long he moved, he found a place, you know, that he was renting. Then he came over. He was going to do an interview or something with T2000. And I had a little showdown and face-off with him. I was just going to tell him off that we're done, you know. And so while I was talking to him, like, man, everywhere I turned, he kept like squaring me off. Like he was very strategic in where he was placing himself, you know. Hands was behind his back. I had no idea what he was doing with his hands. I'm sure he was doing some, running his magic and doing some symbolisms or whatever that was, you know. And man, so I talked to him. I told him like, you know what, we're done. Like I cannot train with you anymore. We're done. He was like, I understand. My godfather had to do the same thing to me, and like he was playing that role, you know, like he dropped the act, like, you know, we're freaking done, you know. And he was like, yeah, look, you know, I understand. My godfather had do the same thing to me, you know. You have to go up and you have to be on your own and teach on your own, you know. I was like, whatever, okay, we're done. Then afterwards, so while the whole time I'm talking, like, oh, my body is shaking. Like here I am facing off with a hybrid, you know. Who's been souped up and my whole body's shaking, but I just told him, you know, that I'm done and what was on my mind. And at the end, you know, he's like, it's okay, son. And so he comes and he puts his hand squarely on my chest, and I see his hand coming, and I'm trying to move, and I can't move. The hand is coming slow motion. I'm like, oh, here's the fall, and I can't move. It's like slow motion, and I'm like, I just breathed in. I took a big breath. And he placed his hand square on my chest here. It's okay. And I was like, so all of this slowed down. The time slowed super still. And he placed his hand squarely on my chest, and then he walks away. And I took a big breath, and I was like, and so when he turned around, I tapped him on his shoulder. Bam! Right back at you, I told him. I tapped him right on his shoulder, and I told him, right back at you. And I never saw him ever since. After he had to go in and do the interview, and he left right after. I never saw him ever since. But wow, that palm came towards me, and I'm like, oh, here's another palm. I don't think this is a good one. It can't be good, you know what I mean?
Well, this was a couple of years ago, the last time you saw him. How long ago was this?
This must have been 2009, 2010.
Oh, okay. So
2010. Yeah, this is 2010.
This is on the Big Island?
No, this is season 2 at the ranch.
So that's it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, season 2 at the ranch. Shortly afterwards, he moved away from the area. Yeah.
Well, I'm just like, because we're like, I mean, we were running these people ourselves, and like, well, like, I mean, I know you don't want any names.
No, I am gonna, because if I
us.
give you names, it's just gonna give you, it's like giving you a fish, but not teaching you how to fish.
Right, I just like little, like, if you run into these
Because
people, like little, I mean.
Chances are, I mean,
say like.
chances are you
Right.
there's 8 billion people, 6 billion people on the planet, you know.
If
I teach you how to, if I give you the concepts and what to look for, you'll be much more.
What to look out for.
Right. That's what I'm gonna
yeah.
do. And so shortly after, he moved away from the property and he left, you know, and I never saw him ever since then.
So why did he move away though? Because he was gonna do a retreat himself there, right?
Because
of what, between you two?
Yeah, I wasn't supporting him no more. I wasn't helping him. And I put my foot down. If it wasn't for me, he would have gained access to this place, and boy, there would have been a lot of broken people, you know? At least, I mean, there wasn't any other student around that knew his true face. You know, I believe I helped stop that from happening, you know? And then he moved away, you know? And I never saw him ever since. I still love the guy. But, dude.
You guys have a tough love lesson.
Do not.
You know, those tough love lessons, you like friends, like, it's just like, you guys obviously are kept together for some kind of fate, and it's some kind of lesson you guys gotta learn, and, you know what I'm saying, there's something there.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so-
There's obviously karmic, and you know, I swear I saw the red flag before, but
right.
I never.
I mean, we all go through something.
I never
like
saw.
that
I
in
never
life.
really saw it for what it was, and it was karmic that I had to go through all of this till this stage to prevent him from coming to merging into this location.
Right.
Yeah, because he would have taken over this base. Yeah.
Which ETs made him into a hybrid?
What's that?
Which ET made him into a hybrid?
I never really got into that. I never really got into that. Next slide. And again, naming the ETs would be like naming who these persons are. I'm trying to give you.
No, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to discern who he is from that.
Well, I'm because you know it's not about who. Again, it's about teaching how to fish rather than giving a fish. Yeah. I'm going to give you a bigger picture. I know there's a lot of suspense. Yeah. I know there's a lot of suspense, but stick with me. So you know, I did a major workshop. I did 6 back-to-back weekends all over the U.S. And as soon as the first stop that I went to the airport, was going to fly out to do the first leg, at my hotel bed, there was a lot of chaotic energy, and I felt something like sit on my bed. And I was like, whoa, what was that? You know, there's a lot of chaotic energy, and I was getting into arguments with Michelle, you know, who I was teaching the workshops with, you know. And then we flew into Canada to do the workshop, and I got stopped in customs at Vancouver. And you know, you do the regular customs, and they'll occasionally flag you to go do a background check or whatever. And I got flagged. And have you ever been arrested? And I was like, no. And then did a background check, and they found I had a DUI 7 years ago in Hawaii. I was like, I don't even remember that. Why didn't you tell us about this? I don't remember. You know, that was 7 years ago. And then she was like, you had FBI files and anything like that. So I was rejected. And yeah, I was rejected, so I couldn't go into Canada. Maybe that was a good thing. I don't know. You should go to Canada and stay for a long time. You should go to Canada and stay for a long time. Wow. Yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, teaching, I met a lot of people, and there's a lot of activity in Vermont. Just intense.
What do you mean a lot of activity in Vermont?
Huh? Huh? There was a lot of activity in Vermont, like there's a lot of activity in Vermont.
Like what? You mean a lot of UFOs flying overhead?
Yeah. Like one time we were out, when we first got there, we were walking around the property, and the lady saw some flashing lights and stuff like that, and she didn't know what that was, and later on I did a slideshow of a ship that landed. And she freaked out because she said that's what she saw where we were at. You know? And then there was this one storm overhead, and it sounded like the gutters was rattling. And it was like, wow, that's freaky. I mean, the storm is just rattling the gutters. And the next day we're like, wow, Michelle was all freaked out. I was like, wow, this is kind of foreboding. That feels weird. Next day, I talked to the owners of the center that we're staying at, and teaching the thing. I was like, yeah, the gutter was rattling. They're like, there's no gutters. I'm like, what? No, it was metallic. It was gutters. Like, no, there's no gutters. I'm like, wow, it's something, you know. It was intense.
The reason why I asked about Vermont is because when I was young, I felt like something was calling me to go to school up there in Vermont. But I never ended up going to school in Vermont. My sister did. She went to Bennington.
There's a lot of a lot of places where there's natural geomagnetic energy. There's a lot of UFOs, ETs. Oh, I'm sorry, go back. Other areas of experience of interest. There's one guy who supposedly did security or worked with the Queen of England, and you know, he was real mysterious. He was hiding out at the ranch, obviously, because of certain reasons, and stayed there way past his time. And you know, people started warming up to him. And one time, you know, talking about the Elohim and working with, you know, the Queen of England. You know, working with hybrids and reptilians and all that stuff, you know. And so I asked them one time, it's like, so how do you deal with what do you do when you come across a reptilian? How do you deal with it? I was with this other girl, you know, and they just started talking about, and he goes, yeah, one time I was in Brisbane and blah blah blah, and this happened and that happened, and I was like, I was waiting for it. Okay, but that's not what I asked you. And so when he finished, boom, I hit him again with the question. So how do you deal with reptilians when you come across reptilians? You're like, blah 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 blah. He spun off in another direction, and I was like, I waited, and then I hit him again with the same question. And then he spun off again. I was like, dude, this guy's full of it. There's something not right. So I just walked away. Later on, I met the girl who was still talking with him. She was all messed up. Her energy, she was sick, not feeling right. And I was like, dude, I told her, like, I was talking to him. You saw me ask him that question. Obviously, he wasn't being real, and he was spinning around. He was like, he was spinning us in circles. And I was like, dude, something's not right. I just walked away, and so I started figuring that out. And then there's this other lady who's a contactee. She uses big words like you cannot evolve. The planet is at a death cycle or something, and you need to get your light body and activate and go through this like complicated thing and that complicated thing. And I was listening to the thing, and I was like, whoa, like, dude, I don't understand a word she's saying, and this is making me feel like I'm dumb, you know? But I was listening, and then all of a sudden I felt 4 hooks, like energetic, like, whoa, what the heck is this? And then I had to like deal with that. I was like, whoa, it's like hypnosis.
And these were guests at the ranch?
No, oh, this was the guest at the ranch. This was it was like a interview or channeling material.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
I know who that is.
Huh?
I think I know who that
Yeah. Okay. And then so again, these are where I started learning certain skills of how they operate and how these tricks work. It's kind of like hypnosis. It's kind of like hypnosis because they lead you into a trance, yeah. And then there's another time you meet drones. Like I met, like, clearly sometimes you see people like, whoa, you're extraterrestrial. You know, you can tell they're hybrids, you know, or like they're really odd and different, you know. And sometimes you meet drones that they're empty, set as bait.
How can you tell?
Like you just like you can tell they're not they're empty.
Where she stops so down over there?
Like they're empty. Like they're like drones. They're like bait. They're like the Trojan horse. They get you to they what you call it? They appeal to your heart. Like, can you help me out? You know, like I'm having a hard time. These negative entities are on me, and then like you can tell that like when they come, they want to teach you something, and you're like, wait a minute, you came for help, right? But like they're sent as drones, like bait, like the Trojan horse, you know, to get you to put down your guard, you know.
They play on your sympathy
And
or
sometimes,
whatever.
yeah, and sometimes these people don't know what they're doing. They're not, you know, they're like, they got all these